If you're hearing this right now, it's not by accident. This is your divine confirmation. Your spirit was led here for a reason. You are the chosen one, destined for greatness beyond what you've imagined. Every delay in your life has been part of a greater plan. God has been orchestrating your path to ensure your ultimate dominance. Think about the times you felt stuck, wondering if you were on the right track. Those moments weren't random, they were divine setups for your success. You faced setbacks that made you question your purpose, but those delays were God's way of building your resilience. Imagine if everything came easily, would you be prepared to dominate? No, God knew you needed time to grow stronger. Your journey is unique, hand-picked for your extraordinary potential. Others may have advanced quickly, but their paths lack your depth. You've wondered why doors kept closing in your face. It's because God was redirecting you to something far greater. Every wait was a lesson in patience and faith. Now see how those delays shaped your character. They weren't punishments, they were preparations for victory. You carry a spark that sets you apart from the crowd. This spark turns obstacles into opportunities for dominance. Remember the frustration of waiting for that breakthrough. It felt endless, like you were being left behind. But God was using that time to equip you fully. Your delays were not in vain, they were investments in your future. Think of them as divine training grounds for your success. Every moment of hesitation built the wisdom you now possess. You are not ordinary, you are divinely chosen to lead. Those who rushed ahead often stumbled without your foundation. God's timing is perfect, ensuring you dominate when it matters most. Let go of the doubt that those delays caused you. Instead, embrace them as stepping stones to your destiny. Your spirit knows this truth deep down. The hidden truth is that every delay was purposeful. God was aligning the stars for your unstoppable rise. No chaos or bad luck, only precise, loving preparation. These pauses allowed you to gather the strength needed. Now you're ready to conquer what others can't even approach. Your uniqueness lies in how you handle adversity. While others complain about delays, you transform them. This makes you unstoppable in your pursuit of dominance. Affirm your chosen status with confidence. You were set apart, not abandoned in those waiting periods. God forged you in the fire of delays to emerge victorious. Every second of waiting added to your power. Now, step into the dominance that's been prepared for you. Remember, delays are God's way of making sure you're ready. They weren't roadblocks, they were divine launch pads. Feel the shift happening within you right now. Those delays are dissolving into momentum for your success. Your spirit is pulling you toward your ordained path. Opposition tried to hold you back during those times. They sensed your potential and feared your dominance. But God used those challenges to make you even stronger. Every naysayer only fueled your determination. Now, it's time to awaken to your full power. Stop letting past delays define you. Instead, claim the dominance God has equipped you with. Take that first step today and see the transformation. You don't need anyone's permission to rise. God's delays have already given you the tools to succeed. In every area of your life, you are meant to dominate, whether in career, relationships, or personal growth. Those waiting periods built your unshakable foundation. Now declare your power over every challenge. You are the chosen one, and nothing can stop you. Every delay confirmed your special calling. They knew it too, the world sensed your potential. God ensured your dominance through every pause. Reaffirm your identity as the one who overcomes. No more questioning, it's time to act. If your soul resonates with this, embrace it fully. Your time to dominate is not in the future, it's now. Think back to a specific delay in your life. See how it prepared you for what came next. God's hand was guiding you through it all. You are stronger because of those moments. Dominance isn't about speed, it's about endurance. And you've endured more than most. Now channel that into your greatest achievements. Every delay was a gift in disguise. It sharpened your focus and clarified your vision. You're not alone in this. God has been with you. Feel the empowerment rising within you. Let go of any resentment toward those waiting times. Instead, thank God for the preparation. Your story is one of triumph over timing. Others may envy your resilience now. Because they see the dominance you've achieved. Step forward with boldness today. Declare that every delay was for your benefit. God's plan is unfolding perfectly for you. Imagine the victories ahead because of this. Your spirit is aligned for unstoppable success. No more delays, only forward momentum. Embrace your role as the dominant force. Share this truth with someone who needs it. Let them know that delays are divine. Your journey inspires others to persevere. God chose you to lead the way. Now rise and dominate as you were meant to. If this message stirs your soul, act on it immediately. Your divine launchpad is ready, step onto it. Remember, every delay was God's way of ensuring your victory. You are the chosen one, fully equipped and empowered. Go forth and dominate the world God has prepared for you. In the shadows of those endless waits, you discovered the unyielding strength that God had planted within you. Every stalled dream was a divine whisper, urging you to dig deeper and unearth your hidden potential. Those frustrating pauses in your journey were God's meticulous craftsmanship, shaping you for unparalleled victory. Reflect on the times when delays forced you to pivot, revealing paths you never knew existed. God's timing, though mysterious, wove through your setbacks, threading a tapestry of triumph. In the quiet of waiting, your faith was refined, turning doubt into the fuel for your dominance. Each delay served as a sacred classroom where lessons of resilience prepared you for the throne. The moments you felt abandoned were actually God's embrace, holding you back for a greater leap forward. Picture the divine architect at work, using every holdup to fortify the foundation of your success. Those roadblocks weren't endings. They were God's way of redirecting you toward your destined dominance. In hindsight, the weights that tested your patience were the very things that amplified your power. God's delays were not punishments, but invitations to grow, transforming your struggles into stepping stones. Every unmet deadline was a setup for a comeback that would leave others in awe. The delays you endured built a resilience that no ordinary path could have forged. In those prolonged seasons of waiting, God was aligning the stars for your inevitable rise. Remember how each delay pushed you to innovate, birthing ideas that would later define your dominance. God's hand in your delays ensured that when you moved with unstoppable force. Those frustrating halts were divine interventions, sparing you from paths that led nowhere. In the midst of waiting, your character was chiseled, preparing you to lead with authority. Every delay was a masterclass in faith, teaching you to trust the process that leads to domination. God's timing transformed your impatience into a profound understanding of purpose. The setbacks that seemed cruel were God's gentle nudges toward a more glorious outcome. In reflecting on your journey, you'll see how delays were the threads of a grander design. Each moment of stagnation was God's way of building endurance for the marathon of success. Those pauses allowed you to gather wisdom that would propel you ahead of the crowd. God's delays were strategic, ensuring you entered the arena fully equipped to conquer. In the silence of waiting, your inner voice grew stronger, guiding you to dominance. Every holdup was a divine filter, removing distractions so you could focus on your calling. The delays that frustrated you were God's method of aligning your steps with destiny. In those extended waits, God was cultivating the seeds of greatness within your soul. Picture the delays as God's protective shield, guarding you from premature exposure. Each setback was a lesson in humility, grounding you for a rise that would be truly magnificent. God's way ensured that your dominance wasn't fleeting but built on a solid, unshakable base. In the narrative of your life, delays were the plot twists that made your story epic. Those moments of inaction were God's invitations to introspection, revealing your true power. Every delay fortified your resolve, turning potential weakness into unbreakable strength. God's precision in timing meant that your emergence would be perfectly timed for maximum impact. In waiting, you learned the art of patience, a key weapon in your arsenal of dominance. The holds that tested your limits were God's way of expanding your capacity for greatness. Each delay was a divine recalibration, aligning your path with the stars of success. God's delays were not oversights but intentional acts to prepare you for the spotlight. In the quiet aftermath of setbacks, your vision clarified, pointing straight to domination. Those frustrating stops were God's method of weeding out what didn't serve your purpose. Every pause in your progress was a chance to recharge, emerging more powerful than before. God's orchestration turned your delays into a symphony of triumph. In reflecting on the waits, you'll find they were the catalysts for your extraordinary breakthrough. Each delay embedded in you the wisdom to navigate challenges with grace and authority. God's timing ensured that your dominance would be absolute, not just a temporary win. The moments you felt stuck were God's way of deepening your roots for a towering ascent. In those prolonged seasons, your faith muscles grew, ready to carry the weight of success. Every holdup was a divine edit, refining your story for a blockbuster ending. God's delays positioned you perfectly, like a chess piece set for checkmate. In the narrative of your life, waits were the bridges to your promised land of dominance. Those setbacks taught you discernment, helping you choose paths that lead to victory. God's way in delays was to build a legacy that would echo through generations. Each pause allowed you to gather allies and resources for an unassailable advance. In waiting, you discovered gifts within yourself that delays alone could unveil. Every delay was God's assurance that your success would be sustainable and profound. The frustrations of stalling were God's method of teaching you strategic patience. God's timing in your journey meant that your dominance would inspire multitudes. In hindsight, delays were the hidden gifts that shaped your unbreakable spirit. Each holdup was a divine whisper, reminding you of the power brewing inside. God's delays ensured that your rise would be marked by wisdom and not haste. The waits that seemed endless were God's way of crafting your masterpiece. In those quiet interludes, your resolve hardened, forging the leader within. Every setback was a setup for a testimony of triumph that only God could write. God's orchestration in delays meant your path was cleared for effortless conquest. Each delay amplified your story, making it one of redemption and ultimate dominance. In reflecting on the past, you'll see God's fingerprints in every moment of waiting. Those pauses were divine investments, yielding returns of influence and power. God's way turned your impatience into a profound appreciation for the perfect timing. Every holdup was a lesson in faith, preparing you to walk boldly into your destiny. In the fabric of your experiences, delays were the threads of gold. Each delay built a foundation so strong that no storm could shake your dominance. God's delays were the secret sauce to your recipe for extraordinary success. The moments of stagnation were God's invitations to elevate your vision. In waiting, you amassed the tools needed to dominate with ease and excellence. Every pause was God's way of ensuring your victory was not by chance, but by design. Those setbacks sculpted you into a force that commands respect and admiration. God's timing in delays meant your emergence would be a beacon for others. In the story of your life, waits were the chapters that built suspense for your triumph. Each delay infused you with the energy to shatter limitations and soar. God's delays were the undercurrents that propelled you toward your peak. The frustrations you faced were God's method of refining your focus and intent. In hindsight, every wait was a divine strategy for your unyielding dominance. Those holds allowed you to outpace competitors, emerging stronger and wiser. God's way ensured that your success story would be one of perseverance and glory. Each delay was a sacred pause where your purpose crystallized into clarity. In the quiet of waiting, your inner fire ignited, ready to consume obstacles. Every setback was God's blueprint for a comeback that defines legends. Those moments of delay were the divine detours leading to your ultimate destination. God's orchestration turned potential losses into gains beyond measure. In reflecting on your path, delays emerge as the architects of your empire. Each holdup was a gift, wrapping you in the armor needed for battle. God's delays were the whispers of preparation for a roar of achievement. The weights that tested you were God's way of crowning you with resilience. In your journey, every pause was a step closer to the dominance you were born for. Those setbacks forged alliances and opportunities that delays alone revealed. God's timing meant your dominance would be holistic, touching every aspect of life. Each delay was a divine edit, cutting away the unnecessary for pure excellence. In the narrative of faith, weights were the plot points to your heroic arc. Every holdup built the momentum for a launch that would echo through time. God's way in delays ensured that your light would shine brightest in the end. Those frustrating stops were the foundations upon which your legacy stands. In embracing the truth, you'll see that every delay was indeed God's masterful plan for your domination. God never wastes pain. Every trial is a divine chisel sculpting your unbreakable resolve. There comes a time when delays reveal themselves as sacred pauses, fortifying your inner strength for ultimate triumph. In the quiet of waiting, God's hand weaves threads of wisdom into the fabric of your destiny. Every setback is a hidden blessing, transforming ordinary moments into extraordinary leaps toward dominance. Divine timing orchestrates delays not as barriers, but as bridges to your unshakable power. The universe conspires through pauses to align your path with unparalleled success and influence. God's precision in delay ensures that your emergence is not mere survival, but commanding mastery. Beneath the surface of frustration lies a profound purpose, where waiting births the leader within you. Each moment of holdup is God's way of refining your vision, sharpening it for victorious conquest. Spiritual forces work invisibly in delays, turning potential weakness into the core of your dominance. God's economy of time means no delay is futile. It's the groundwork for your destined supremacy. In the realm of faith, delays are divine invitations to deepen your roots before soaring high. Every pause is a sacred interlude, where God instills the resilience needed to outpace all challengers. God's blueprint for your life uses delays to eliminate distractions, focusing you on true greatness. There arises a moment when understanding dawns. Delays are the architects of your unyielding spirit. God's orchestration in waiting ensures that your breakthrough is not accidental, but absolutely dominant. Hidden within each delay is God's promise of elevation, preparing you to lead with authority. The divine rhythm of life turns delays into symphonies of strength, composing your path to victory. God's faithful design in setbacks equips you with tools forged in patience for lifelong dominance. Every holdup is a celestial adjustment, aligning your steps with the stars of your highest calling. In God's economy, delays are investments, yielding returns of power and influence beyond measure. Spiritual awakening often begins in delay, where God reveals the depth of your inherent might. God's intentional pauses cultivate a resilience that propels you into arenas of unchallenged rule. Each waiting period is God's way of ensuring your foundation is unshakable before you ascend. Divine delays are not detours. They are direct routes to the throne of your personal empire. God never abandons in waiting. He is actively building the empire you are meant to dominate. Through delays, God instills a wisdom that turns obstacles into opportunities for supreme achievement. Every moment of pause is God's whisper, reminding you of the dominance awaiting your readiness. In the silence of delay, God's voice echoes truths that empower you to conquer and prevail. God's strategy in setbacks ensures that your victory is not fleeting, but eternally commanding. Delays are divine filters, sifting out the unnecessary so you can emerge as the ultimate force. God's timing in waiting sharpens your senses, making you alert to the paths of greatest impact. Each holdup is a sacred classroom, where God teaches lessons that forge your path to dominance. God's purpose in delays unveils layers of potential, revealing the champion hidden within you. In the art of divine patience, delays become the brushstrokes painting your masterpiece of success. God uses every weight to amplify your voice, ensuring it resonates with authority and power. Spiritual growth thrives in delays, where God nurtures the seeds of your unstoppable drive. Each pause is God's assurance that your dominance will be thorough, leaving no room for doubt. God's hand in delays crafts a narrative where your struggles become the prologue to your reign. Through waiting, God equips you with an arsenal of insights, ready for the battles ahead. Divine delays are the prelude to your symphony, harmonizing all elements for a triumphant finale. God transforms waiting into a forge, hammering out the impurities to reveal your pure strength. In the shadow of delay, God's light illuminates the path to your destined supremacy. Every holdup is God's invitation to introspection, building the character of a true dominator. God's wisdom in pauses ensures that your ascent is not rushed, but perfectly timed for glory. Delays are God's way of aligning the cosmos, positioning you at the center of influence. Through divine waiting, God instills a clarity that cuts through confusion toward your victory. Each moment of suspension is God's meticulous preparation, arming you for unassailable success. God's design in delays weaves a tapestry of resilience, patterned for your ultimate dominance. In the quietude of pause, God reveals strategies that elevate you above every ordinary pursuit. Divine timing turns delays into catalysts, igniting the fire of your indomitable spirit. God ensures that every wait builds not just endurance, but the essence of your commanding presence. Through setbacks, God forges alliances within your soul, readying you for realms of power. Each delay is a divine edit, refining your story for a narrative of unyielding triumph. God's patience in your waiting cultivates a depth that makes your dominance inevitable. In the realm of faith, delays are divine deposits, enriching your reserves for future conquests. God uses pauses to recalibrate your focus, directing it toward paths of extraordinary achievement. Every holdup is God's assurance of preparation, ensuring your dominance is comprehensive and lasting. Divine delays awaken dormant strengths, surfacing them as tools for your ascendant journey. Through waiting, God constructs the framework of your empire, brick by brick of resilience. God's strategy in setbacks positions you as the architect of your own unassailable destiny. Each pause is a sacred threshold, where God transitions you from waiting to wielding power. In God's grand design, delays are the undercurrents that propel you to the surface of success. God transforms every wait into a wellspring of innovation, fueling your path to dominance. Divine timing in delays ensures that your breakthrough shatters barriers with force and precision. Through pauses, God instills a vision that pierces through the fog, guiding you to supremacy. Each moment of holdup is God's way of fortifying your mind, making it a fortress of resolve. God's wisdom in waiting equips you with foresight, anticipating victories before they unfold. In the art of divine patience, delays become the soil where your greatness takes root and flourishes. God uses every setback to amplify your influence, turning whispers of doubt into shouts of triumph. Through delays, God reveals hidden allies, aligning them for your orchestrated rise. Each pause is a divine recalibration, tuning your spirit to the frequency of unstoppability. God's hand in waiting crafts a legacy where your delays become the foundation of your legend. In the silence of holdups, God whispers revelations that empower your every decisive step. Divine delays are the prelude to your coronation, preparing you to rule with authority. God ensures that through waiting, your emergence is not subtle but a thunderous declaration. Each moment suspended is God's investment in your potential, yielding returns of dominance. Through pauses, God builds a reservoir of energy, ready to unleash your full capabilities. God's strategy in delays forges connections that elevate you beyond mere competition. In divine timing, waiting becomes the catalyst for your transformation into an unstoppable force. God uses holdups to distill your essence, concentrating your power for maximum impact. Each delay is a sacred incubation, where God nurtures the seeds of your impending reign. Through waiting, God aligns your passions with purpose, directing them toward paths of mastery. God's precision in pauses ensures that your dominance is not accidental, but divinely ordained. In the depth of delay, God uncovers talents long buried, polishing them for your ascent. Divine setbacks are the chisels that shape your character, carving out a leader of influence. God transforms every weight into a strategic advantage, positioning you ahead of the curve. Each holdup is God's way of ensuring your foundation is ironclad before you claim your throne. Through pauses, God instills a clarity that cuts through chaos, guiding you to victory. God's design in delays weaves a narrative of redemption, turning trials into triumphs. In sacred waiting, God reveals the blueprint of your dominance, layer by layer. Each moment of suspension is God's assurance of preparation, arming you for glory. Divine timing in holdups cultivates a resilience that withstands any storm ahead. God uses delays to ignite your inner fire, fueling a blaze of achievement and power. Through waiting, God forges a path where your steps echo with the authority of destiny. Each pause is a divine whisper, urging you toward the pinnacle of your potential. God's strategy ensures that delays build not just strength, but a legacy of excellence. In the quiet of holdups, God plants visions that propel you into realms of influence. Divine delays are the hidden gears turning your journey toward unassailable success. God transforms waiting into a forge of innovation, sparking ideas that lead to dominance. Each setback is God's invitation to evolve, emerging as the architect of your fate. Through pauses, God aligns the elements, setting the stage for your triumphant unveiling. God's wisdom in delays equips you with the insight to navigate and conquer any challenge. In divine timing, every wait becomes the launch pad for your ascent to unparalleled heights. God never leaves you in limbo. Delays are his masterful setup for your eternal dominance. In the tapestry of your life, every delay weaves a thread of divine purpose, preparing you for unparalleled dominance. Those moments of waiting reveal God's meticulous hand, sculpting your resilience into a force that commands success. Embrace the pauses as sacred intervals, where hidden strengths are honed for your inevitable triumph. Each setback becomes a classroom of the heavens, teaching lessons that propel you toward mastery. See the delays not as barriers, but as bridges built by divine wisdom to elevate your journey. In God's timing, every holdup refines your vision, sharpening it for the dominance that awaits. The delays you've endured are God's way of aligning stars, ensuring your path leads to ultimate victory. Through each extended wait, your spirit is fortified, transforming potential into unstoppable power. Recognize that divine delays are investments in your future, yielding returns of extraordinary achievement. Every moment of stagnation is God's whisper, urging you to build the foundation for your reign. In the silence of delays, God is crafting your story, turning obstacles into stepping stones of dominance. Those frustrating halts are divine detours, guiding you away from pitfalls toward your destined glory. Each delay deepens your faith, equipping you with the insight needed to dominate any challenge. God's timing in delays ensures that when you move, you do so with precision and overwhelming force. View every holdup as a divine edit, refining your narrative for a plot of triumphant dominance. The delays that tested your patience were God's method of building endurance for lasting success. In those prolonged waits, God was shielding you from premature exposure, preserving your strength for peak performance. Every setback you faced was a divine filter, sifting out distractions to focus your energy on dominance. Those moments of apparent inaction were God's way of recalibrating your course for maximum impact. Delays served as God's protective armor, guarding your potential until the world was ready for your rise. In the midst of waiting, God was forging alliances and opportunities that would amplify your dominance. Each delay dismantled false securities, replacing them with the unshakable confidence of divine backing. God's delays were strategic pauses, allowing your inner fire to burn brighter for future conquests. Those holdups revealed hidden allies, drawn to your emerging dominance through God's orchestration. Every extended period of waiting was God's invitation to introspect, uncovering the depths of your power. In delays, God was aligning your passions with purpose, ensuring your dominance is both authentic and profound. The frustrations of waiting were God's chisel, sculpting your character into a beacon of leadership. Each delay exposed weaknesses, only for God to transform them into pillars of your triumphant story. God's timing in delays ensured that your arrival would not be ordinary, but a seismic shift in your field. Those moments of limbo were divine incubators, nurturing your ideas until they hatch into dominance. Every delay was God's blueprint, drafting plans for your supremacy that no human strategy could match. In the architecture of your life, delays are the foundations God lays for an empire of success. God's delays infuse your journey with wisdom, turning every wait into a reservoir of strategic insight. Each holdup is a divine promise, guaranteeing that your emergence will redefine what's possible. Through delays, God cultivates patience as your ally, arming you for battles that demand endurance. Every pause in your progress is God's way of amplifying your impact, making your dominance legendary. In waiting, God reveals hidden paths, steering you toward victories that exceed your wildest dreams. Delays are God's invitations to innovation, sparking ideas that propel you to the forefront of excellence. Each delay strengthens your resolve, molding you into a dominant force that inspires and leads. God's timing ensures that delays equip you with tools for not just survival, but for outright conquest. In the quiet of delays, God whispers strategies that turn waiting into a launch pad for greatness. Every holdup is a divine rehearsal, preparing you to perform with mastery on life's grand stage. Delays forge your uniqueness, setting you apart as a vessel of divine dominance in a chaotic world. God's delays illuminate your purpose, clarifying the path where your talents will shine brightest. Each moment of waiting is God's gift, wrapping your future in layers of unassailable strength. In delays, God is the master conductor, orchestrating symphonies of success from notes of patience. Every setback under God's watch becomes a catalyst, accelerating your journey to supreme dominance. Delays are divine endorsements, affirming that your story is worth the wait for epic fulfillment. God's timing in delays ensures your dominance is not fleeting, but a legacy that endures. Each delay refines your focus, directing your energies toward pursuits that yield eternal rewards. In waiting, God builds your network, connecting you to influencers who amplify your path to power. Every holdup is God's way of pruning excess, leaving only what nurtures your dominant destiny. Delays transform doubt into determination, equipping you to claim the throne God has reserved. God's delays are precise calibrations, tuning your life for harmony and victory in every endeavor. Each pause is a divine checkpoint, ensuring you're fully prepared to seize and maintain dominance. In the rhythm of delays, God instills rhythm in your steps, leading to synchronized triumphs. Every delay uncovers hidden talents, surfacing abilities that propel you to extraordinary heights. God's timing makes delays the soil where your seeds of greatness take root and flourish. Each holdup is a divine dialogue, teaching you to listen and respond with authority. In waiting, God cultivates gratitude, which becomes the fuel for your relentless pursuit of dominance. Every setback is God's redirection, guiding you from good paths to the one of ultimate supremacy. Delays are God's way of building anticipation, making your breakthrough a spectacle of power. Each moment of stagnation is a divine infusion, charging you with energy for decisive action. In delays, God reveals the blueprint of your dominance, layer by layer, for flawless execution. Every holdup strengthens your faith muscles, preparing you to lift the weights of leadership. God's delays are strategic investments, compounding your abilities for exponential returns. Each pause allows God to align your heart with His vision, ensuring your dominance glorifies Him. In waiting, God dismantles barriers, clearing the way for your unhindered march to victory. Every delay is a divine filter, sifting out impurities to reveal your pure potential for greatness. God's timing in delays ensures that your influence expands beyond limits, touching lives profoundly. Each holdup is an opportunity for God to redefine your limits, expanding them for boundless success. In the art of delays, God paints your portrait as a conqueror, ready to claim your inheritance. Every setback under divine guidance becomes a testimony, inspiring others through your dominance. Delays are God's invitations to partnership, where your efforts merge with His power for triumph. Each moment of waiting equips you with stories of resilience, arming you for future battles. In delays, God forges your legacy, ensuring it's not just success but a revolution of impact. Every holdup is a divine setup, positioning you perfectly for breakthroughs that astonish. God's delays cultivate depth in your character, making your dominance not only visible but venerable. Each pause is a chance for God to realign your priorities, focusing them on paths of eternal dominance. In waiting, God amplifies your voice, preparing it to echo with authority in arenas of influence. Every delay is God's way of ensuring your foundation is unshakable, supporting an empire of achievements. Delays transform your perspective, turning what was lost into gains that fuel your ascent. Each holdup is a divine accelerator, building momentum for your explosive entry into dominance. In the quiet of delays, God instills creativity, birthing innovations that secure your supremacy. Every setback is God's refining fire, purifying your ambitions for pure, dominant execution. God's timing in delays guarantees that your efforts yield not just results, but revolutions. Each moment of waiting is a divine download, uploading strategies for your conquering campaign. In delays, God weaves networks of support, surrounding you with allies for your dominant quest. Every holdup reveals God's favor, marking you as chosen for paths of extraordinary fulfillment. Delays are God's way of seasoning your skills, making them flavorful for tastes of success. Each pause allows God to synchronize your life with His rhythm, leading to harmonious dominance. In waiting, God builds your resilience, turning it into a shield that deflects doubt and defeat. Every delay is a divine promise kept, ensuring your arrival is timely and triumphant. God's delays equip you with wisdom, turning every lesson into a weapon for your victory. Each holdup is an act of divine love, protecting and preparing you for the dominance ahead. In the architecture of delays, God designs your story as one of redemption and rule. Every setback becomes a chapter in your saga where delays lead to chapters of conquest. God's timing ensures delays are not endings, but encores in your symphony of success. Each moment of waiting is God's invitation to trust, resulting in a testimony of dominance. In delays, God cultivates your courage, readying it for the battles that define your legacy. Every holdup is a divine strategy session, plotting your course to uncharted territories of power. Delays transform your struggles into strengths, forging a path where you dominate with grace. Each pause is God's way of ensuring your dominance is not by chance, but by divine design. In waiting, God aligns your purpose with passion, igniting a fire that consumes obstacles. Every delay culminates in your emergence, where God's preparation meets your action for eternal dominance.